The universe is a strange environment filled with even stranger worlds and elements that cannot be explained. So far, astronomers have stumbled on a couple of them, including ice volcanoes to Einstein rings to massive black holes and mysterious exoplanets like the fluffy world called TOI 3757, which scientists believe can float like a marshmallow. But where exactly is this strange celestial object located? What are its features? And is it really comparable to a real-life marshmallow? Let's find out. Sometime in the 1990s, scientists discovered the first ever exoplanet. And since then, they've discovered many more with different shapes, sizes, and features. Currently, about half of the sun-like stars in the universe are said to have the potential to support life. That means there are about 300 million potentially habitable worlds out there. So we could one day take a trip out to any of these worlds, perhaps for a vacation or something. But in reality, most of them are quite mysterious. Some of them are stranger than the others, like the HD 189773b, located about 64 light-years away from Earth. On the outside, this exoplanet looks like a gorgeous deep blue marble drifting serenely in the emptiness of space at an insane speed of 5,400 kilometers per hour. This fascinating color is the reflection of the silicate in the exoplanet's atmosphere. When heated by the planet's insane temperature of around 1,300 degrees Celsius, this silicate ultimately becomes grains of glass. And that's the reason why it rains glass sideways on the HD 189773b. Up next, we've got the K2-18b. A mythical giant world that's twice the radius and 8 times the mass of Earth. Understandably, it's been touted as one of the few exoplanets with Earth-like features. It's a rocky planet that orbits the habitable zone of its parent star, which suggests that it supports the existence of water as a liquid. But don't even think of spending your vacation here, because the atmosphere on this planet consists mainly of hydrogen atmosphere. Furthermore, it has a watery layer and a rocky iron core where temperatures and pressures are far too intense to support life as we know it here on Earth. To put it nicely, a swim on this big hot planet will most likely vaporize you. The HAT P7b could be another choice of destination. But just like the other exoplanets we've talked about so far, it's not an exactly welcoming environment. In terms of size, it's pretty much comparable to Jupiter. The surface of this planet is pitch dark as it absorbs more than 97% of the visible light that shines on it. This makes it one of the darkest celestial elements in the universe. But ironically, it has a sapphire sky and an orbital plane that's tilted at 108 degrees to its host star, which means it's almost in a polar orbit. The HAT P7b orbits very close to its star, about 20 times closer than Earth is to Sun. As a result, a year on the exoplanet is less than 3 Earth days. On average, the temperature on this planet is more than 2,200 degrees Celsius. This explains why most scientists describe it as an ultra-hot Jupiter. From here, we move on to the young giant brown planet called J1407b. Located at roughly 434 light-years from Earth in the constellation of Centaurus, the extrasolar planet was first discovered by scientists at the University of Rochester. J1407b is enormously big, such that its ring system contains over 30 rings, each of them measuring tens of millions of kilometers in diameter. In all, the ring system of this planet stretches over 75 million miles, which is approximately 200 times larger than the famous ring system around Saturn. For perspective, if we could possibly replace Saturn's rings with the ring system around J1407b, we would be able to sight them at night, as they'd be many times larger than the full moon. Next, we talk about the super sluggish HR513b. The planet is officially known as the celestial object with the maddest orbit in the entire universe. It's understandably big. Data shows that it's about 3 times more massive than Jupiter and completes one full rotation in 74 odd years. The KELT-9b is another strange world that exists in our universe. It has an average temperature of 4,300 degrees Celsius, which makes it hotter than most stars. For perspective, it's so hot that its atmosphere is dominated by titanium and atomic iron. And more interestingly, A year on this planet is equivalent to a day and a half on our planet. Still talking about strange worlds that exist in our universe, you've got the WASP-12b, which scientists describe as a puffed-up planet in a death spiral. According to scientific reports, this exoplanet is about 3 million years away from its demise as it continues to spiral uncontrollably towards doom. Currently, it's wobbling and distorting under the influence of the gravity produced by its parent star. At the same time, this exoplanet, which is located 600 light-years away in the Auriga constellation, is experiencing intense stellar radiation that's causing it to swell at an astronomical rate. And speaking of the Auriga constellation, that's the same destination where scientists found the TOI 3557, a newly discovered mysterious world that scientists describe as a fluffy marshmallow. This huge discovery was made by astronomers at the Kitt Peak National Observatory while they were exploring the skies with the WIYN and TESS, aka Transiting Exoplanet Survey Satellite Telescopes. TOI 3557 is located approximately 580 light-years away from our planet, and surprisingly, it orbits a weird type of star known as a red dwarf. A gas giant orbiting a red dwarf star isn't something you'd expect to see every day. This is a well-known fact even to scientists. Giant planets around red dwarf stars have traditionally been thought to be hard to form, Shubham Kanodia said. So far, this has only been looked at with small samples from Doppler surveys, which typically have found giant planets further away from these red dwarf stars. Until now, we have not had a large enough sample of planets to find close-in gas planets in a robust manner. Red dwarf star systems are quite famous in the Milky Way galaxy. They make up 73% of all the stars in our galaxy. But they are also known for being hostile. Ironically, they cannot be seen with the naked eye because they're smaller and cooler than the yellow dwarf stars, like the Sun, so one would ordinarily think they'd be a bit more homely, but sadly, that's not the case. Rather, they eject violent solar flares that can make life unbearable for nearby celestial objects. This extreme activeness and the occasional powerful flares they emit make the discovery of TOI 3557 a wonder. It completes one full orbit every 3.43 days. From observations, scientists believe that this planet is about 3 times bigger than Jupiter and 85 times heavier than our Earth. On average, TOI 3557b has a density of 17 grams per cubic foot, which is equivalent to about 1/4 the density of water. This makes it extremely fluffy. For perspective, if somehow you placed the TOI 3757b in a planet-sized cosmic bathtub, it would float. One reason for this extreme fluffiness is that its host star has a lower than normal amount of heavy elements, which causes the planet's rocky core to form more slowly. This means the exoplanet isn't pulling in as much gas as other normal gas giants do, and ultimately helps give it a low density. Interestingly, this planet has an elliptical orbit that essentially takes it closer to the star, which might be another reason for its fluffiness. As it moves closer to the red dwarf, the star's enormous heat causes the planet to expand and become bloated. In addition, the extreme closeness between the planet and its star is responsible for the lack of a stable ring system around it. Astronomers believe that there are more puffy and fluffy worlds out there that will be discovered any time from now. But first, scientists are keen to focus the sophisticated cameras of the James Webb Telescope towards the planet to reveal the true cause of its fluffiness.